Hey, it's me, MLB. Here's chapter 50 of Serendipity, and this one's titled The Day Of. This chapter is written in a way to evoke images of the absolute pandemonium of having food poisoning, where the body is evacuating both ends at the same time. So if you would prefer not to read such content, then please consider skipping this chapter altogether, but if you have a cast iron stomach, hang on because it's a bit of a rough ride. Throwing yourself out of bed, you ran for the ensuite shortly after Deku had entered there and threw the door open, exposing your soon-to-be husband on the loo. "Yin!" he gasped. "Sorry, You could have cared less at that point. Seeing him on the toilet was the least of your concerns as you ran for the shower and threw the screen back, throwing up in the well. Hearing you heaving set Deku off, and he clutched his mouth as he heaved and retched into the palm of his hand. Unable to hold it back, he threw up all over the floor, and you looked back when you heard his horrible noise. At seeing the mess on the floor, you dry-reached again and threw up again, wailing as he did so. "I'm sorry," he cried at you, still stuck on the porcelain throne. "I feel so sick." After heaving up more of your stomach contents, you coughed and reached for the shower knob and turned them on, stripping your clothes off and getting in while stepping around your vomit as it washed down the drain. "Was it something we ate?" you groaned out to Deku. You heard him moving around outside the shower and looked over to see him off the toilet and cleaning up his mess, but then, while you watched, he immediately grabbed for the toilet bowl and threw up in it again. It was at that point you felt your lower stomach churning. "Izu?" you called with rising urgency. "Izu, I think I'm gonna..." It was at that point you lost control of your bowels. 45 minutes later, you and Deku had finally been able to leave the bathroom, and you both stumbled back out into the bedroom and fell into the bed. "We need some medicine," you whispered out to Deku. He nodded and picked himself up on shaky legs to walk to the kitchen to get some stomach medicine for the two of you. You cried softly as you lay there, completely wasted. "It's our wedding day tomorrow and I feel horrible," you sobbed internally. "This food poisoning has come at the worst time." Deku came back shortly with some stomach medicine and helped you take it, then took some for himself and put the bottle on the bedside table. "We need to get to sleep," he said, helping you into bed and tucking you in. "I'm sorry the night has ended like this." He hadn't noticed your crying from before, but he certainly heard you the next time around, as it was a lot harder to hold back your tears and you bawled loudly. It's okay, he placated. "We'll be okay by tomorrow, I promise." "Why?" you wailed. "I could have been this sick in all the other 20-something years of my life, but no, I had to be vomiting and pooing all over the place on the night before the wedding." Deku just hugged you, holding you as you cried it all out. You were so exhausted that you just cried yourself to sleep, and he stayed up and held you until your breathing had calmed down. Then he lay you down and tucked you in again. "Poor Yin," he thought sadly. "I hope it's all out of our system now, and it doesn't happen again tomorrow. That's not going to be good, running off to the bathroom every 2 seconds. Finally he slept, setting an alarm a little earlier so that he could make some calls. The next morning you woke with a start when Deku wasn't beside you. Then you remembered what day it was and jumped out of bed. Amid wondering where everyone was and what time it was, you also realised you felt pretty good. "I must have had a really good sleep," you thought. As you rounded the corner to the kitchen, you saw Deku standing there with a coffee in hand. "Babe, what are you doing?" you asked with confusion, looking at him chilling there. Then you looked at the clock on the wall. "It's 10:30 a.m. Immediately you flew into a panic. "My makeup artist was supposed to be here at 7:30 a.m. and the bridesmaids should be at 2. You need to be getting going. The wedding's due in 2 hours' time." And Deku put the coffee mug down and walked over to you, gently taking you into his embrace. "How are you feeling?" he asked in a very caring tone as he looked down at you with those big green eyes. "I feel fine, but the wedding..." "I rang around this morning," Deku said gently. "My main concern was for your health, and I want you to enjoy today, so I pushed everything back so that you could have a sleep in and feel refreshed. Don't worry, the makeup artist and hairdressers are due to arrive at midday. Are you hungry? I can order No, I'll make us breakfast." You teared up while he was speaking. What did you do to deserve such a thoughtful, wonderful man? "I love you," you blurted out, bursting into tears. "I love you more, Yin. I want you to have the best day today," he said with a tender smile. You hugged him around the middle, and the two of you just took a moment to enjoy each other's company on the morning of your wedding. Usually wedding mornings were chaos, but this was a beautiful start, and you thanked him again and again for doing what he did so that you could slow down and enjoy such a special time together. At midday he left to go to Todoroki's house, and your girls arrived, along with the hair and makeup specialist, and it was all systems go. You had a blast. Everyone was doting on you, running around, getting things for you, and taking a ton of pictures. Thankfully, you were feeling 100% thanks to Deku slowing the morning down, and you followed your girls out to the waiting wedding cars to head to the venue after you'd been decked out in your wedding attire. "This is it," you said with excitement as you hopped into the wedding car along with your bridesmaids. As the weight of the situation started to sink in, you started to feel a little lightheaded, and as the car started off down the road with the chatting girls giggling away in it, your nerves started to get the better of you. "I'm feeling a little dizzy," you said to the girl beside you, and she immediately called for the aircon to be turned on. "Can we have some air back here?" she called out. "Yin, you look pale. Do you need some water?" another of your bridesmaids asked. Oh, wedding next chapter. Stay tuned for that one. That's chapter 51 coming tomorrow.